So minutes ago, we just got the announcement of the first section of practice squad players added to the Green Bay Packers. So they have a total of 17 spots, including the international kicker Alex Hale, which was signed to their practice squad. They have signed 12 players. So there's actually 5 more spots open, which Brian Gutekunst mentioned it will be from outside of the organization. So these first 12 players are players that were cut from yesterday's 90-man roster. Also, the Packers' corresponding move to signing Braden Narveson was releasing kicker Greg Joseph. So Narveson will be the Green Bay Packers kicker for week 1. Still crazy that we're saying that just 8 days away from week 1, where we went through this entire offseason going, who's going to be our week 1 kicker? Is it going to be Anders Carlson or is it going to be Greg Joseph? And it was neither, but I'm very intrigued by Braden Narveson. Just released a video going over his signing as well as the other players the Packers lost to waivers. If you want to go watch that, you can go check it out on my channel. I go in more depth on those things, but in this video, wanted to go over all the practice squad signings so far for the Green Bay Packers. The Packers have signed the following players to the practice squad: defensive lineman Deslin Alexander, quarterback Sean Clifford, defensive lineman James Esther, kicker Alex Hale, the NFL International Player Pathway Program, wide receiver Julian Hicks, guard/tackle Donovan Jennings, cornerback Kalen King, so glad to see that name here, running back Nate McCrary, running back Ellis Merriweather, cornerback Robert Rochelle, guard Lecitus Smith, tight end Messiah Swinson. So those are the initial 12 players. Gutekunst, like I said, did say that the remaining 5 players will come from outside of the organization. And he also mentioned with the second wave of cuts, they may end up adding yet another player to the 53-man roster, which then would also have to have a corresponding move. I would think the Packers will end up adding a tight end, in my personal opinion, to the 53-man roster. We'll see if that happens. But in terms of the practice squad, we talked about the first 4 in my recent video about an hour ago. But the new players, Julian Hicks, I thought he was pretty impressive this offseason. So happy to see Donovan Jennings back on the practice squad. He was a guy that I thought was going to make the roster as an undrafted free agent. By the way, that streak continues to 20 years now because they signed Braden Narveson, who's an undrafted free agent. So it was about to end. That 19-year streak was about to end, an undrafted player making the week 1 roster for the Green Bay Packers, but it continues now with Braden Narveson. But back to Donovan Jennings, very excited that he's on this practice squad. I think he can be, honestly, a future starting guard in the NFL. And Kalen King, he showed a lot of promise, and I'm honestly shocked that he didn't get claimed. You have someone like Royce Newman getting claimed. I mean, still remaining on a 53-man roster is crazy to me over someone like Kalen King. You can understand Grant DeBose and Anthony Johnson Jr. You can understand those two. But Kalen King not getting claimed, I'm happy for it. I want him on this roster or at least practice squad. And I think he can be a future solid nickel cornerback for this defense. And then keeping 2 running backs makes sense. Nate McCrary, Ellis Merriweather. I would almost bet on the Green Bay Packers elevating one of these guys for week 1. So then they have 3 running backs active on game day if Marshawn Lloyd isn't ready. The Packers could also sign an outside running back, either to the practice squad or the 53-man roster. That could definitely happen. Robert Rochelle back on practice squad is nice. He offers a lot of special teams experience. Then Lecitus Smith, wasn't too fond of him this offseason, this preseason and training camp. I thought he was probably one of our worst linemen, right around the Royce Newman mark. But hey, we got Donovan Jennings, so that's fine. And then Messiah Swinson, kind of talked about him in my previous video today as well. A name you will see that is missing here is Christian Welch, and it's upsetting. I don't know if he's signed anywhere yet, but I could understand why he wouldn't sign with the Packers. What else could he have done to make this roster? And he still didn't. So he's probably thinking, hey, if I did all that and still didn't make the roster, I probably don't have a chance to make this roster. I truly think if he went to the practice squad, he would be elevated certain weeks this year, whether that's through injury or wanting another solid practice squad player. But Christian Welch has moved on. Also, some number information. Quarterback Malik Willis will wear number 2 for the Green Bay Packers, and Carrington Valentine has changed his number from 37 to 24. Not sure how I feel about that. Honestly, I thought the 37 matched Carrington Valentine perfectly. I really liked another cornerback in this room as number 37, giving shades of Sam Shields. It just looked nice on Valentine. I don't know how I feel about 24. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, it kind of just reminds me of like Jarrett Bush or something, which, yeah, it's fine, but I liked 37 a lot more. Some other news from Gutekunst's press conference. He said he has no doubt that Malik Willis can learn Packers offense quick enough to be their quarterback 2 in Brazil next week. Working with Brian Callahan, who comes from the same tree as Matt LaFleur, helps. So I talked about how maybe if the Packers had an issue with Jordan Love, say if there was an early injury, Sean Clifford might be the one to step in, but clearly that's not the case. Clearly they're very comfortable with Malik Willis as he comes from the same coaching tree as Matt LaFleur and believe it'll be an easy transition. So it seems right now there's no doubt in the Packers' mind Malik Willis is quarterback number 2. Gutekunst also spoke on Grant DeBose, saying he earned an opportunity on Packers 53. It's just that they had to make difficult decisions. Quote, some of the things that Malik Heath and Bo Melton did just made more sense for us at this time. Goot also went on to say that he admits he hasn't been as patient as he should be with specialists in Green Bay. Kind of went back to talk about Mason Crosby, how Ted Thompson remained patient with him, and that worked out. Kind of making the correlation that, hey, maybe he's not as patient as Ted Thompson was. Obviously, releasing Anders Carlson after 1 year, having a similar kicking percentage to Mason Crosby in his first year. Mentioning also J.K. Scott. They moved on from him quickly. Now he's a great punter over there on the Chargers. He kind of inferred that he's going to be very patient with Braden Arvison, which I love. I think this guy has a great leg. You saw him hit a 59-yarder in preseason, and I just think the potential is definitely there. I think he has more consistency than Anders Carlson, and misses are going to happen, guys. It's not going to be all perfect. I would love for it to be a Brandon Aubrey situation where this guy just comes in as like automatically one of the best kickers in the NFL. I hope that happens, but it might not. I think this guy does have the chance to become a great kicker in the NFL, but it might be a slow start. And of course, you're also kicking in Green Bay. This isn't Dallas in the Dome. You're going to be kicking in severe weather in Green Bay late in November, late in December, early in January. So those are all the practice squad updates we have so far. Expect the other 5 players to kind of get rounded out probably by tomorrow. It might happen by tonight, but of course I'll release a video going over those guys and giving a breakdown on each of the players, as they will be new players to the organization. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please go down and click subscribe if you are a new viewer here. Turn on post notifications to not miss any content. It'll be all season. You'll see injury updates, roster news, live streams during games, PFF reviews. It'll all be here on this channel. You won't want to miss out on it. But I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Pack Go.